Hey, this is Brimstone. You're watching AFK away from the keyboard. Ain't no better place to be than right here watching now.
Slackers of the world, unite!
All right, so how this is gonna go is I'm gonna just basically ask two questions, and then you guys can start lining up and start asking questions. You guys cool with that? Yeah? No? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, here we go. All right. I'm a little nervous. I haven't done this in about a year, so you guys give it for me. Yeah.
Yay!
Awesome. So this is for both y'all. What was like one of the best memories you had on set?
We're Back to the Future?
Back to the Future.
Oh, well, I think meeting Claudia was one of the best things I remember. That's right. Yeah, no, there were so many. It was a very unusually amiable and fun set. We had a great time.
Michael is amazing, just positive and sweet and funny. But once I met James, I was good. I was good. As long as I know James, set.
Awesome. Oh, look, there's some clapping. There we go. Awesome. So it's been 30 years, since Back to the Future came out. Did you guys think that would be so iconic and so real to everyone here? What'd you think about that?
Well, of course not. Back to the Future began as not a very big project. And it was just quite amazing that when part one was done, it was just like kind of perfection. And nobody realized it would have that kind of success. So here we are 30 years later with 1, 2, and 3, and all you wonderful people here acknowledging that. Thank you.
I'm just so honored, and I feel so blessed to have this be a part of my life. I was so excited to be in a Spielberg film that nothing else occurred to me. I enjoyed working on it, but it coming out into the theaters, the only thing that occurred to me about that was terror, because I was going to be so big on a screen. But I just love the fact that you guys are so amazing and awesome and love us, and we get these opportunities to meet you all and travel, and it's just incredible. What a
Thank you.
blessing.
So awesome.
We love you.
All right, if you guys want to start lining up, we have a mic right over here and right over here for the Q&A. While we guys are lining up, hey, not everyone at once, I guess. Oh, there we go, we got one. Before we get into that, are you guys kind of disappointed that we don't have flying cars,
Excuse me, I'd like to answer this.
Okay.
When I was in the 8th grade, there was a guy from NASA who came to our school and spoke to us. And he said to us, I understand you're in the 8th grade now, but when you grow up, there's going to be cities in space, and you go visit the moon just for a weekend jaunt. Where are the cities in space? I mean, forget about the flying cars. I don't understand. We're not going to the moon this weekend.
Not this
So
week, maybe the next one.
that's just my personal opinion.
Awesome. You want to answer that one?
What was the question?
Are you pretty disappointed that we don't have flying cars and all the cool
Am
stuff?
I disappointed? Of course not. There's so many other things to be happy about.
Yes.
Flying cars are coming. Driverless cars are here. It's only a matter of time.
Awesome. That's very, very true. All right, let's start right here.
Hi. First of all, thank y'all for even being involved in the movie because it's amazing and everybody loves it. I think we can agree. The cast is so unique. I feel like it was a lot of amazing people. I know y'all probably hear this a lot, but what was it like having Eric Stoltz in the beginning, and then 6 weeks into shooting, all of a sudden here's a new Marty. How did that feel as a cast, having to work with someone new right away?
Claudia.
Okay, so I met Eric when we took Stella Adler's acting class years before Back to the Future. He had long, stringy red hair, and he had just come to LA from Santa Barbara to be an actor. And then when I got Jennifer Parker when he got Marty McFly, so we hung out and we did the photo session for the picture that was to go into his wallet of the two of us. And probably a lot of you know this, but when I got Back to the Future, I then found out, I guess a month or so later, that a TV show I had done the previous spring called Off the Rack got picked up to be a mid-season replacement, which meant it was picked up for 6 episodes, and they were going to go at the exact same time as Back to the Future. So I had to withdraw from being Jennifer in the movie. Well, 6 or 8 weeks later, when Eric was let go, I was done with my show. So they had recast my part. Then Eric got let go. The girl that they had cast in my role got let go, and I got my part back. So as far as I'm concerned, all things work together for good.
Thank you.
Hey, what's going on, Dave?
Hey, what's up, man? How are you? Hey,
I'm good.
Hello, how are y'all?
Hello.
Strickland. Hey, James. Just got a quick question for y'all. Well, actually, more geared towards James. So, what's your favorite part, man? Was it the 50s? Was it the future? Or was it the cowboy western? Because I got to say, the western, boomstick, discipline, that's one of my favorite lines, man. Thank you.
Now, the question is, what was my favorite part?
Yeah, definitely. Which Strickland did you like to portray the most?
You know, I like part 2 because it was so crazy. I mean, when Strickland gets to go out with a shotgun and he's all shot at in the middle of the night there, it's insane, and it was just so much fun. That
Legit?
was my favorite.
All right, thank you, sir.
I liked part 1 best.
Let's go on this side real quick.
Hello, I'm a huge fan. How was Robert Zemeckis like on set? As a director. How was he like? How was his
Totally
direction?
brilliant. I mean, you hardly knew he was there, and yet everything he asked you to do and told you to do made it so easy. He's absolutely brilliant.
Awesome, cool.
Ditto.
Thank you.
Awesome. Back to this side.
Hi guys, I just wanted to say thanks for being a part of the film.
Like
I
your
love
outfit,
it.
man.
Oh, not you, but yeah, just thanks for coming here to San Antonio of all places, and just wondering, like, what was your most memorable moment from the film?
Claudia?
Most memorable moment.
Kissing.
Same for the principal, or?
What did he say? I never kissed the principal.
I have difficulty hearing everything.
Everything.
We can turn up the mics on these guys. That'd be wonderful for these questionnaires, the Q&A. Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. All right, let's go back to this side right here.
Hi, my question is for James. You have your character in Back to the Future 3 has, I guess, an implied death scene. Was that something that you actually shot, and is it something that you regret not being in the film at all?
Okay. So give me that question again. I can't.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's over here.
There's a little reverberation through the mic.
Right.
So
There is.
What's the question?
Your character in the third film has a implied death scene.
my character in the third film. What?
You have a. There's a scene in the film that implies that your character was killed.
Yeah.
Is that a scene that you actually shot for the film and then got cut, or was it cut from the script? And is it something that you regret not being in the film?
You're talking about part 3, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, they let me improvise a little bit. When at the end, when I was shot, I said, "Remember that word, son, discipline." And at first, that was not cut. That was cut out of the movie, but later they put it in one of the other whenever they released it again. So I like that.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much. All right, back to the side.
We all have to remember that sentence. That was
Yeah.
good.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Discipline.
Hi. I was wondering if you guys could tell any interesting stories about working with Crispin Glover, because I heard that he was kind of peculiar on set. Crispin Glover.
Working with who?
Crispin.
George McFly.
Crispin.
He was the dad.
I didn't really work much with Crispin. Did you?
I went to high school with Crispin.
I remember there was.
I did work with Crispin because we were in the drama department together. Crispin was best friends with Nicholas Coppola, who then became Nicolas Cage, the superstar. And our other friend in the drama department, John, ended up directing Nick in a bunch of his famous movies, John Turteltaub. So I knew Crispin in high school, and he was very similar to his character in the 50s. He's a good guy, though, and very smart and brilliant actor. But he's like, if you talk to him, if you're in high school and you're talking to him, he's kind of going like this. And then if you're me, you're kind of looking to see what he's looking at and kind of going like this. So that was kind of my friendship with Crispin. Awesome dude, though.
Well, I know that Mr. Strickland, there's a scene with him where he's got the "kick me" sign on his back. So I thought maybe you might have remembered working with him.
He said you had a kick me sign on your back.
A what?
You have a kick me sign on your back, so you thought, you'd remember working with him on that.
George
In the
McFly.
No, I do remember that. And then I reprimanded him in the hallway.
That's right.
Because a paper airplane flew by me and I thought it was him. But I don't really know him well. I haven't worked with him that much. But everything I hear about him is that he's extremely talented, not only as an actor, but as an artist, as a director. And he's kind of a Renaissance young man.
Right. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Awesome. All right, let's get that side going again. Go for
Okay,
it.
well, I have a couple of things. First, a statement. I have to say the thing I'm most disappointed that we don't have in the real 2015 is a self-drying jacket. Can you imagine how handy
Can you
that would
say
be?
that again, please?
The thing I'm most disappointed that we don't have in the real 2015 is a self-drying jacket.
Self-driving jacket.
Self-drying.
Oh,
you fall in the
drying.
pool and it
Oh,
dries
we do,
itself.
We do. We have that poly la 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 fabric.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound like a
fast.
vacuum cleaner. And also, since you're most disappointed about us not having cities in space, would you ever consider volunteering for the Mars One mission?
Would I ever consider what?
Volunteering for the Mars One mission.
I volunteer.
One catch, it's a one-way ticket.
To do what?
That's not fair. But you know what? I had items in the Orion space shuttle. I had a DeLorean time machine. I had a clock tower shirt, which, by the way, you can buy on ClaudiaWells.com. Save the clock tower, and I love you, 555-4823, ClaudiaWells.com. But anyway, and I had a picture, and I was there at the takeoff. So that's as close to a Mars mission as I've gotten.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. All right.
Hello,
guys,
boys.
thank you for
Step
coming.
right up here.
My question is for James. James, just if you could go a little bit into detail in the M80 scene in Problem Child 2, when you get blown up.
A little bit of
How much
detail
fun
on
was
what?
it?
You wanted me to go into a little detail on what?
On Problem Child, the M80 scene?
Problem Child 2?
Yes, sir.
Detail.
You're a slacker. You're about to get in trouble.
Well, I don't know. It was kind of a crazy, nutty thing. I mean, that little kid is marvelous, and Ritter was great, and I didn't know what I was getting into in that movie. I didn't realize I was going to be blown up from out of a toilet seat.
Thank you,
I need to
James.
see that movie. What's it called? Problem Child?
Problem Child 2, hey.
It was one of my favorites growing up. That's why I asked.
Okay.
Awesome. Back on this side.
This is super. Is this on? Oh,
There it is.
this is really off topic, but what other things are you guys planning to do in the city over the next couple days?
What are you guys gonna do in San Antonio while you're here?
Ribs at Rudy's. Yeah. But I hear there's a good Rudy's and a not so good Rudy's. We're gonna go to the good Rudy's. And I want to do the river walk. And I just gotta say, let's just be personal here. I love Texans. I love, the cowgirls are cool, but can we talk about a Texan man? So I'm just happy to be here.
Thank you.
We can get some more Q&A. So on that same topic, have you guys ever took the chance to visit San Antonio and just kind of like hang out without like being here at a convention or anything, like, you know, vacation kind of thing?
We were in Dallas, what, a year ago? 2-ish? So, but that's where I first learned about Texans, because I had all the fans in all the world for Back to the Future are amazing. There's one slight exception. I had a stalker killer guy in Texas, so I was going to cancel from doing the show because he's in Texas and didn't want me to step foot in Texas without something bad happening. It's the only experience I've ever had with a fan that wasn't phenomenal. But man, when I was at that show, I had like 10 Texans right there at my table with guns, and there was no one who was going to mess with me. So anyway, that's my heart is in Texas.
I've had some Texas experiences. When I got out of the Navy, a friend of mine and I took my 41 Ford pickup, and we were trying to get work in the oil fields in Midland and Odessa. That didn't work out, and I hadn't seen my dad in 7 years. He's now in the cow business in Iowa, so I went to see him. So I drove a cattle truck for a couple of years, and I used to haul cows from Strawberry Point, Iowa, to Waxahachie, Fort Worth, Oklahoma, and I got to know a lot of Texans, Big Dog Johnson and Dick Anderton, and all these guys, rodeo hands. They're all dead now, and yeah, that's true. But I know a little bit about Texas, yeah.
Awesome. Oh, here we go. We got another question on this side. Go for it.
First off, aside from checking out Rudy's, you have to check out Rusty Bucket over on Couples, 90s and Couples. It's another great barbecue joint, and they're all open on the weekends.
Oh, wait, what's it called?
Rusty Bucket. It's over off of 90s and Couples.
The Rusty Bucket.
Rusty Bucket.
Yeah, Rusty
Okay,
Bucket.
wait. Excuse me for interrupting. Okay, who here says Rudy's? Yell. Okay, who here says Rusty Bucket? Yell.
Yeah, all right, so you got to kind of try it all.
Did I say the name wrong?
No, you're fine. But on the side, on the actual question is, do y'all, with all the movies that are going through their little reboot phases, is there a Back to the Future reboot or a Back to the Future reunion kind of quasi in the works?
Man, you're gonna make some angry fans. He wants to know if there's any rumor of a Back to the Future reboot that you guys might know about that we may not know about, right?
No.
Yeah? No? Oh.
All right, just checking because I actually like that. I just want to make sure there was no.
But I think actor-wise, all of us would be open to it, because I heard Chris, when we were in Tokyo, say he'd be open to it. But according to Bob Zemeckis and Bob Gale, no.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
How can you improve on what's been done?
We got a question right over here.
Hi there. Well, first of all, thank you all both again, like you've heard from many people, for actually coming to Alamo City Comic Con. It's really great that you guys were able to come and represent the movie like this. This particular question is for James. James, you were the I think Detective Lubick was your name in the Masters of the Universe live-action movie, for however many people remember that one. So. In this case, James, my question for you about acting in that movie, because there was, even though it was mid-'80s, there were a fair amount of special effects in it. Over this way. Right over here, James.
There he is. It is pretty bright on stage.
Now, what do you want to know about Masters of the Universe?
So my question about it is, what was your feeling being, I'd wager that that was one of the main movies that you were in that had a fair amount of special effects in it, where you had to kind of visualize it with your mind, because green screen was not really a thing back then. What was your experience working in a movie that had a lot of special effects like that, even though it was like the 80s?
It was fine, because the writing was good, and it was fun acting in it. And of course, the the special effects in that movie are so outmoded in terms of today.
Oh, yeah.
So if you watch the movie today and you compare it with special effects, it's what are being done presently, it's lacking, but for the time, it was good.
Yeah, very cool. All right, thank you very much.
Awesome. Very awesome.
I have a question specifically for James, please. Where'd he go?
What?
James, I have a question for you.
What?
Okay, so in this fabulous movie Top Gun that you did, how is it that that wonderful line came up about the check cashing and ego? I'm just curious.
Yeah, well, when we were filming at Miramar, I said, I want to speak to some of the squadron commanders. And I said, you know, when these guys screw up, how do you talk to them? And the guy said, well, this happened just recently. I talked to this pilot, said, son, your ego is writing checks, your body can't cash, you're going to fly yourself right into a box. Well, they wouldn't let me say fly yourself into a box, but they took the line, your ego is writing checks, your body can't cash, and put it in the movie. And that was my contribution above and beyond whatever else. Thank you, Claudia.
Awesome. So we brought up the whole like reboot, thing earlier, which I guess we can all agree that would be awful, right? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, granted though. But if we were to do a reboot, who would play your roles?
Me?
All right, there we go.
Was I supposed to think of someone
You know
different?
what? I think that'd be kind of cool, though. You never know.
I look like I'm 18 plus 30.
So if someone could take your role as a principal, Back to the Future.
In Back to the Future?
Yeah, for like if we were to do a reboot right now, who would you choose actor-wise?
Boy, I have to think about that. I can see the actor, but I can't remember his name. What's? Oh, I'm sorry. I can't remember his name.
But you know, honestly, James, you look exactly the same.
Yes.
So I think James would play Mr. Strickland, and I would play Jennifer Aged.
That's sweet of you, Claudia.
It's the truth.
We got any more Q&A? Anyone want to jump up on these mics? I mean, we got them open. Let's come on. We got some Back to the Future questions. Let me see some of you fans out there. Jump up on these mics. Don't make me ask all the questions. Oh, there we go. We got one right here. Here we go.
Hello.
Hi.
What did you think when you saw the car for the first time?
What were your thoughts on the car whenever you first saw it? The DeLorean.
Well, awesome. It was quite awesome, really.
I liked it.
Yeah. And I had a second question. Was it only Chris and Michael J. Fox who got to go into the future and into the past, or did you guys get to go too?
Well, actually, on the weekends when the cameras weren't rolling, Marty and I went all over the place during every time frame. But that's personal and private information because the DeLorean people don't know that we borrowed the car.
No problem. I'll update my blog.
Thanks so much, man. Oh, we got go for it, brother.
Claudia, I have a question for you.
Answer for you.
Is that actually your handwriting on the flyer?
Yes!
It's not a stagehand or a second unit director's.
It's me.
That's okay.
The script supervisor came up to me and she said, write this down. And it said, I love you, 555-4823. And I just wrote it down. Now, I didn't realize that one writing it down was going to be what was going to fill the entire screen in the movie. I grew up learning cursive. I never was taught any other writing but cursive handwriting. And I thought if my teachers saw that, I would have written it so much prettier and so much nicer. But the good news is because I did it so quickly, now when I sign the back of the flyers or when I sign the back of my shirt, looks exactly the same.
One more. Did you ever give that number out to anybody that you wanted to give a fake number to, like you wanted to throw somebody off?
I've never given out a fake number. Why would I ever do that?
I don't know. Thank you.
Girls don't tell everything, do we, ladies?
Oh, that was a good one. I like that a lot. Oh, look, we got a gentleman walking up to the mic right now. Hi.
Actually, I could just give out the number to my store. That's what I usually do. I have a men's store in Studio City called Armani Wells, and when guys want my phone number, here's my number, and it's my store number. It's a win-win.
That's awesome.
All right, hey, James and Claudia, October
Hi,
21, hi, how you doing? October 21, 2015 is coming up, and that's one of the dates that was used in one of the movies. Are you guys going to do anything special for that?
So October 21st was one of the cool dates that was put on the actual movie, 2015. Is any of the Back to the Future crew going to do anything special for that? Anything cool, like an event we should know about?
Maybe I'll watch the trilogy all over again.
Yeah. All right, that's cool.
We're going back.com. They did something 5 years ago, and on October 21st, they're going to actually be showing the time. Okay, tell me the name of that fabulous documentary that's about to be released.
The flux capacitors?
Yeah.
Jason Aaron, time. We're out of time. Out of time.
Out of time.
I
Yeah, I think.
Oh, he'll kill me. Really, I'm in it. But they're showing that documentary at Universal Studios and doing a big thing there. And then there's another big thing that I might be at in Washington, D.C. And there's whispers of a big thing in another state of which I cannot say because I'm not supposed to know. But there's going to be a lot of big deals going on October 21st. I know in Australia they're doing a big, huge thing, and there's going to be a lot.
All right, thanks, guys. Thanks for coming to San Antonio.
Oh, yeah. So who thinks we should throw a party on October 21st? I think so, too. I'm going to go tell Apple. On that same note for the,
I was looking for my phone to text Jason Aaron and double-check the name of his documentary.
You can text him. On the Alamo City Comic-Con note, I know it's day one. How's your experience so far? Has everything been pretty awesome? Anything crazy happen while you guys were hanging out in the green room and all that?
Everything in there is crazy. You should see what people turn out like in the green room. No, I'm kidding. I'll tell you what, the food is amazing. Really good. And I'm just, everyone couldn't be nicer. Everyone couldn't be more professional. This is one of the best run shows I've ever been to.
Thank you. Man, that's very kind. That's very kind. All right. And by the way, you can ask more than one question.
Yeah, this is like my third.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Just feel free to jump on the mics.
But the documentary is called Back in Time, by the way.
Okay, that's what you said. Yeah, I think you said
I'm
that for a second.
talking, but in my head I'm going, time, it's time.
You don't need to make the embarrassed text. So, yeah.
So back in time.
Back in time.
Back in time, I knew that.
Now,
Back in
I'm
time.
curious if either of the two of you got the chance while it was at Universal Studios to ride the Back to the Future ride.
I did.
And are you really upset that it's gone?
Yeah, because you know what? I was actually at the thing that we did with Bob Gale and everyone when the ride was being torn down and turned into The Simpsons. Now, the Back to the Future ride, it was scary and I enjoyed it very much. However, can we just say that the Simpsons ride, it's the same ride. They just switched up Back to the Future scenes for Simpsons scenes.
I can't say that I don't like the Simpsons ride too, but
Because it's Back to the Future ride with Simpsons stuff.
They could have run side by side, right?
Right.
Just switch out every other ride as a Simpsons.
It's still in Japan, I believe.
Yeah.
So that's good.
All right, thanks.
Oh, on that note, cell phones, put them on vibrate, please. Although I am a huge Power Rangers fan. Awesome. Go for it, Dave.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm back. Yeah, I know.
Hi, Periscope.
Big old line back here. I know I cut it.
Clock Tower shirt. ClaudiaWells.com.
Sorry, we're being on
I'm talking to
Periscope right now. We're Periscoping. That's the new cool thing.
So, what was I going to ask you? I saw this thing on YouTube real quick, or maybe it was flying around Facebook, and I think somebody in Australia decided to open up their whole drive-in movie theater, and they made it all Back to the Future themed. They had the prom, They had the clock tower. They had the DeLorean flying down the side. It was awesome. Have you guys ever seen that? Or
Where in Australia? Because I'm going there in a few weeks.
I have no idea, but I've only seen the video once, and I was like, man, I would love something like that, like a little mini Back to the Future theme park. I mean, heck, even my text tone is.
Post it on my Facebook site, Claudia
All right.
Wells,
Well,
or
whatever
Claudia
else.
Wells TOO, or my fan site.
Yeah.
There you go. You'll see something from Mr. David Lee. Everyone give it for David. No one likes you. Always asking good questions, man. We love you, man.
I'm a walking plug.
No, it's a good plug. Yeah, I think the flux capacitors are playing that, which is like a huge, like, like a big Back to the Future band. Over here we go.
Are you guys excited to meet like the other people here, like other
Stanley?
celebrities here? Like, who haven't you met before that you're kind of excited to meet first here?
I've met 2 of the Sons of Anarchy, and I only saw the show once, so I can't even tell you what characters they were, but I would be quite pleased to meet all the Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah.
That's it. Oh, and Stan Lee.
Woo!
Legend. Stan Lee is going to be here. He's the guy who invented Batman and Superman.
Not Batman, not Superman.
All those. I was at Entertainment Industry Councils at one of their, it was their SET, Science, Engineering, and Technology Awards, and I announced an award for Stan Lee, and then had to do the whole, he couldn't make it, and da-da-da-da-da-da. But, so I sort of know him.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Let's jump to this side real quick.
Oh, hi.
Hey.
So I'm a Chicago Cubs fan, and I know in Back to the Future 2, they had the entire book of who's going to win the World Series, Super Bowl, everything like that. And for 2015, it had the Chicago Cubs winning the World Series. Do you think that could be a possibility, or do you think it was just... I mean, hey, come on, we've been...
I think the Steelers are going to win the World Series. That's baseball, right?
Wow.
Oh, I got it confused. Darn it.
That was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
I meant the football thing.
The Mets are going to win
The
the World
Mets?
Series.
Or the Yankees.
Not the Yankees,
Why?
the Mets. Mets.
Mets? All right, thank you.
Money on the Mets. Don't forget to bet on the Mets. All right, back to this side.
My question is for Claudia. I wanted to know, how did you feel about reprising your role in the Back to the Future game?
I so loved that, and I'm happy that you brought that up because, you know, having done Jennifer when I was 18 and then having to say goodbye to her, to be able to say hello to her again 2 years ago or however many years ago it was such an amazing experience. I was in the sound room with the headphone things on and looking at the lines, and I was like, whoa, I'm Jennifer again. How cool. I loved it. And the quality of her character, because she was more, I don't know, worldly, kind of in a sort of rough, tough way. And my Jennifer was very much like me, which was very innocent and me. And so the combination of who I am today and who I was then, and the new Jennifer and who she is compared to who she was a similarity, because both of us have lived quite a bit of life since way back then. So that was probably way too much information, but I loved being Jennifer again. I would be her again and again and again.
Thanks.
Awesome. Saw someone over there for a split second, and they left. Awesome. Yeah, so... Oh, here we go, right here. There we go. I saw he went from there to there. I was like, man, what happened? That was awesome.
Sometimes I teleport. Mr. Tolkan, in just about most of your movies, you play an intimidating, angry man. Is that the character you like to play the most? Or if not that, what was your favorite role to play in whatever movie?
Well, let me say that basically I'm a New York actor. I'm a stage actor. And in the theater, I've managed to play a wide variety of parts. But when I was studying with Stella Adler, she said, okay, for the business, pick out a character, harden it, and try to make that the one that works for you in terms of movies, so they see you in a certain way. So that's what I did for that, the kind of character you're talking about. But I had the pleasure of playing a lot of various parts, mostly in the theater. Does that answer your question?
A little bit. Do you? I'm just saying. Do you prefer to play that, or do you just like the wider variety whenever you're in theater or movies?
Oh no, I prefer a wider variety, but I also prefer 3 weeks of rehearsal. And a lot of times in movies, you don't get 3 weeks of rehearsal. You just kind of learn the lines, you get together with a bunch of people, and you start filming. And when you don't have that much time, it's nice to have a character that you can basically kind of count on to get you through. And that's kind of what they ask for. So you give it to them.
All right, and then just a final follow-up. What was your favorite character, whether it's stage or set? What was your favorite character that you personally have ever played?
Well, I played the villain in Wait Until Dark with Lee Remick on Broadway back in the 60s. And in '84, I did the David Mamet play, Glengarrigan Ross. And I really loved doing both those plays in the theater in New York.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great question, man. Great question. So this question's for Mr. James here. If any of us were to go to New York, what would be like the coolest thing for us to check out, other than like the stereotypical,
To go to New York?
Yeah.
Well, to see live theater, of course. And right now, there's some very interesting musicals going on. And who's the guy? Benedict Cumber? Yeah, he's coming to Broadway with Hamlet. And there's always interesting things to see in New York. And live theater. There's nothing quite like a live performance.
Agreed. I must agree to that. That's awesome. We got a question right over here.
Hey, I was wondering, well, we all know that they already said they're not making a sequel or any kind of like spin-off. But in the case like in October, they throw a curveball and say like, hey, we're doing a reboot. Would you guys like to reprise your roles?
They're throwing us a curveball?
If they throw us a curveball and say they're going to do another Back to the Future.
Hey, every time you do a movie, they throw you a curveball, one way or another. But that's all right. It's part of the game. You expect it.
So would you?
Claudia, what's this question?
I would do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Awesome. We got any more questions? Any more Q&A? Remember to step up here. We get you questions answered. Got Back to the Future. Awesomeness going on. Oh yeah.
We're going to start asking you guys questions if you don't think of any, because I got plenty I could ask you.
Don't make me ask any more questions. That's all I'm trying to say. Oh, here we go. We got a runner.
That wasn't really running, but
I know. Slow motion run.
It was a Comic-Con run. So, James, I have another question for you. When it comes to making a sequel to a film, after a character that you've established in the first film, is it easier to step back into that character in subsequent films, or do you find it less interesting?
Well, once you've created a character and you've established that character, it's very easy to just continue on indefinitely once you know the character. You can put the character in any kind of a situation, and he will respond out of character, if you, so to speak.
Do you feel like the characters in film are shaped more by the directors and editing after the fact, or does the actor have more control of it?
It depends on the director. Very often, certain directors, you rely on them, you want them, you know that everything they're going to give you is just perfect. And certain other directors are much more interested in other things other than the acting, and they just let you go and they say, okay, do your thing. So it just depends on the situation, you know?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. We got time for 2 more questions, and I don't want to ask them, so let's get to. Oh, look at that! I say one thing, and 5. I love that shirt. I have that shirt. Go for it, brother.
Besides each other, do you still keep in touch with any other of the cast members?
I do. James and I are best buddies. He keeps up with me, and I keep up with him. And I see Chris at all the shows and events we do together. And also, we hung out while we were doing the Back to the Future video game. And Michael, we just saw a couple weeks ago in London, and I saw him about 8 years ago. And Leah lives around the corner from my store, my men's store, Armani Wells in Studio City. So yeah, I think and I'm friends with Goldie, and he gets a lot of clothes at my store, Armani Wells in Studio
I'm sorry,
City.
what was the store again?
No, that's the truth.
What was the store again?
It's called Armani Wells, and it's in Studio City. And on December 9th, it'll be 24. I think I already told you guys that. But anyway, I keep up with everybody, I think.
Cool. All right. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. So as far as like the social media trend that's going on, like Facebook, all that cool stuff, do you guys keep up pretty much on the Twitter? Like, are you like constantly going and whatnot? And you know.
I'm doing better than I used to. I don't have like people doing my stuff. It's me. So I'm doing the best I can. On Twitter, I'm at the Claudia Wells. And so I do what I can, though I just found out I've been doing Alamo Comic Con instead of Alamo City Con. So, oops. But yeah, and it's all me on Facebook, and I'm trying to do more on my actual Facebook fan page, because I have two of the personal pages, and one's full and the other one's about to be full. And I just think it'd be nice to have one place where everyone can see things. Was that your question?
I think so. Yeah, it was. But yeah, let's. That's actually really good.
But also, actually, I update my fan site, which is claudiawells.com, but it's updated every single week with new Back to the Future information, new events, new appearances. So that's a great way for people to really keep tabs.
You guys got that? Got that? Say it one more time for everyone.
claudiawells.com.
Yeah, awesome.
I tried to keep it simple.
I just came to me. I finally remembered
who
I think should play my part of the film.
Yes.
Pee Wee Herman.
That would be amazing. I would buy it. I really would. All right, we got time.
He's booked. It's got to be you, James. Just checked his schedule.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna these last two guys right here, and then we'll close the panel up. Let's hear it, brother.
All right.
No
Wondering
pressure.
if you guys, either of you two, have a favorite line or quote from any of the Back to the Future movies.
I do.
All right.
How about a ride, mister?
What about you, James? Do you have a favorite line or quote from either any of the movies?
You're a slacker, McFly.
Yeah!
Awesome. All right, last one. No pressure. Don't have to, no pressure. Everyone stare at him like.
Last but not least.
I have a question for both of you. What is your favorite co-star you worked with? Whether it was Tom Cruise or Michael J. Fox, which, out of any movie or any
thing.
Okay, so if we choose one, though, then we're going to get in trouble with all of the rest,
All of
right?
them, yeah. That's the point of his question. He's putting you guys, throwing you under the bus right now.
Do you want to answer first and then me?
Well, it's very hard. I've done so many things with Timothy Hutton, and he's a good friend, and I always, he is one of my favorite people to work with. He's brilliant, and he's directed me very wonderfully, and I think of him.
I have two. You guys are all, I'm sure, too young to remember a show on TV called Simon and Simon. Anybody?
Yeah, a few, yeah.
One of the Simon brothers, it was Jameson Parker and Gerald McCraney. And Gerald McCraney, on his directorial debut, I was the guest star, when guest starring meant like you're in 45 minutes of the movies or the TV show. And I absolutely adored working with him. And then I'm adding to your question because also I was in Martin Sheen's directorial debut of a school break special called Babies Having Babies. Loved working with him. And we had a weeks-long rehearsal of rehearsals before we did it. And I took notes. I mean, I have a book of Martin Sheen notes of acting brilliances. So those would be two of my favorite.
Thank you.
I'd like to just add one more name. I worked with Al Pacino several times.
Dang.
And one of my very early films was Serpico. And I worked with him in the theater. And I even did a thing recently where he did Phil Spector. I played a small part, the judge. But Al is absolutely amazing person to be around to watch him work, and totally committed, brilliant actor. Yeah.
Thank you.
Can we add one more?
Oh, we're gonna add one more.
I want to add someone I want to work with other than Timothy Hutton and Al Pacino, because those are 1 and 2. But the other one that's 1, Jessica Lange.
There you
I
go.
have loved her ever since Frances.
Awesome.
I would love to work with her. I changed the question and changed the answers.
Hey, we can keep adding if we want, you know. Hey, Alamo City Comic Con, give it up for Mr. James Tolkan, Claudia Wells. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.